But keeping up the energy, keeping up the excitement here, we're bringing you electric cars, hydrogen cars. We've got great new ideas coming up, but this one has to be one of the best that's out there. And again, never mind the excitement around Expo 2020, which we're all going to be very anxiously waiting for. What about the Hyperloop? Yes, indeed, an efficient means of transport, an even more efficient means of transport to actually get us between Dubai and Abu Dhabi, something we've all been really looking forward to. I never look forward to that long journey. It's just that little bit too long in the car. But the Hyperloop, this is going to be the answer to my boredom on the road. And again, a very, very creative project that's actually been put together by a gentleman with a background in fine art. So the Hyperloop is something very different, but its origins also very, very different. But again, it's the concept of fine art with the intersection of design and architecture and, of course, purpose. It's not all just a dream. It's not out there in the future. It is actually something very, very practical. So forever in search of a new challenge, another creative evolution. This was the new challenge on the horizon for the creative director of Hyperloop One. I want you to give a very, very warm welcome to Colin Rees. Colin, thank you so much.
So thank you all for being here today, and thank you for Masdar for putting this forum together. And most importantly, thank you to the Abu Dhabi leadership, for without their vision, none of this would have been possible. So today I want to tell you a story about time and a story about distance, and what happens to that time when it's given back to you, and that distance between you and someone you love becomes insignificant. But before I do that, I'd like to show you a quick video about who we are and what we do, as I firmly believe our execution speaks louder than words. Go ahead and roll the video.
If someone asks, how do you get there? What do you say? Do you tell them about the packed train compartment? Or how you have to leave when they want you to leave? Do you tell them you got there 2 hours early just to sit and wait? Or about the excessive amounts of pollution? The endless queue, the accidents, congestion, overcrowding, inefficiency, how antiquated it all is. We're Hyperloop One, and we're going to change this.
So you've all just seen, thank you. So you've all just seen here that Hyperloop is not a thing of the future or fantasy. It's happening right now, and it's happening here inside the UAE. What you've just seen will change everything as we know it. Businesses can grow as we change the rules of inventory finance. Cities can thrive as we allow for redistribution of services and resources. Communities, once disconnected by distance, will be merged to form new bonds and cultural exchanges. And most importantly, it will affect the lives of everybody in this room. But first, I'd like to give you a brief background about our company. Our employees come from some of the top universities across the globe, and we've put together the single best leading engineering team in the world to produce this project. Currently now, we have our innovation campus in downtown Los Angeles, where we do most of our initial testing and our engineering and our invention work. We have there 180 employees. We have the first Hyperloop factory just outside of Las Vegas, which we call Metalworks, where we have all of our early stage production before it goes out to our large-scale testing facility in Las Vegas. And here we have our, as we call it, Apex site, where we're building the first full-scale Hyperloop system, which you will see happen this year. This was a test that we conducted last year, just in May, where Hyperloop One made history by conducting the first propulsion test using an electric motor. Here you see we went from 0 to 187 kilometers an hour in 1.1 seconds. This video, which you're about to see, received 40 billion media impressions, one of the records for Google. Here's the video now. So that was our initial intro to the world. So now let me give you a little more info about how Hyperloop works for those of you who don't know. We use a tube which creates our isolated environment where we can avoid weather delays and costly right-of-way issues. We use an electric motor to propel and brake the pod, which is carbon neutral and incredibly cost-effective over time. Inside the tube, we create a low-pressure environment, minimizing drag and strain on the system. We use a passive maglev to levitate and guide the pod, and the pod itself operates completely autonomously, removing the concern of operator error, which is responsible for over 80% of transport disasters. But most importantly to Hyperloop, it is on demand and creating the first form of truly packetized travel. So I want you to think about Hyperloop as a physical broadband, but instead of sending packets of data, we're sending packets of people. And this slide here illustrates the direct destination of Hyperloop. So you'll see you can go from Etihad Towers to Dubai Airport in 14 minutes, or Etihad Towers to Saadiyat Cultural Center in 3 minutes. But never once do you stop along the way. Excuse me. We think, many people say it's about the journey and not the destination. At Hyperloop, we firmly believe it is about the destination and not the journey. So what do we want to do? We want to not improve the travel experience, we want to eliminate it. So as we look at it in comparison to other modes of travel, it's faster as we move at speeds of up to 1,200 kilometers per hour. It's one mode that connects it all. So instead of taking a taxi to a bus to a plane to a taxi to your final destination, you get onto the Hyperloop and you arrive at your final destination, creating a seamless travel experience. We're greener as we have zero direct emissions, as most of our system is run completely off electric, and we don't use our propulsion other than every 10 kilometers where we receive a boost, and then we glide in between each one of those stations. And lastly, it's 50% less than the cost of high-speed rail. And as you've seen, a lot of these high-speed rail projects across the globe are being stalled by cost-effective issues. We believe we can bypass these problems. Connectivity is everything in the world today, and Hyperloop is the catalyst to make this happen. Next-level connectivity will be uniting the Emirates and the entire GCC region to become a global powerhouse in trade and innovation. It will reinvent region economics while we redistribute resources more effectively. And instead of building $2 billion hospitals to service Dubai and Abu Dhabi, we can create one in the center that services both cities and allows for those additional resources to be invested elsewhere in the region. The clustering effect that occurs, the ecosystem that gets built up around the Hyperloop technology, where you have manufacturing and services that all get built up to service this. And lastly, we unlock new ways for urban development as hour-long commutes turn into minutes. So what freedom does that give you to live where you want to live and work where you want to work? As I said earlier, Hyperloop is not the future. It's now, and Hyperloop One is the company delivering this vision. In a few months, we will make history again by conducting the first ever full-scale Hyperloop system test at our facility in Nevada. This will be the first time the world has ever seen a full-scale Hyperloop working, And not since the Wright brothers gave us flight have we seen a technology that will create such a paradigm shift in our lives. Right now, I'd like to show you a short video of where we'd like to see Hyperloop in 5 years from today. Just gives you some insight into how our system works. So as you just saw, we know Hyperloop can be the first mode of transportation to tackle this last mile solution, which has never been done before, creating a seamless and stress-free travel experience for all citizens across the UAE. And in the words of His Excellency Yusuf Al Atoba, Hyperloop One is a startup company, and the UAE is a startup country. And I look forward to continuing our joint goal of transforming the lives of not only citizens here in the UAE, but across the entire GCC region. Thank you very much for your time.